The traditional flag of Normandy is a red field with two gold leopards, derived from the attributed arms. The main cities are Rouen, the capital since 2016 of the provinces, and forming the upper Normandy is Caen. Lastly, forming the capital of lower Normandy is Le Havre. In 2006, the population of French Normandy was around 3 million people, with an average population density of 109 inhabitants per kilometer square, just under the French national average, but rising to 140. Is a historical and cultural region of the northern France, encompassing the departments of Manche, Calvados, Eure, Eure, and Saint-Maritime. It covers 30,000 square meters, and the inhabitants of Normandy are known as Normans, as the region is the historical homeland for the Norman language.
To start talking about the history of Normandy, let's see which populations inhabited it and what historical events have marked this region. Initially, it was inhabited by the Celtic tribes, and then from the end of the 8th century, Viking raiders devastated the region and settled there, founding a principality on the year of 911, and then this principality became a county and then the Duchy of Normandy. Normandy has particularly hard hit by the consequences of the Hundred Years' War and the Wars of Religion, and was one of the main centers of Protestantism in France. Then, on the 20th century, happened one of the main events that happened on the region of Normandy, which was the Battle of Normandy. It's like so common because of the movie, everyone knows that one, and it was and on this battle, many of the major cities were devastated, like Saint-Lô, Lafre, and Grain, and in 1956, the Norman territory was divided in two administrative regions, Lower Normandy and Upper Normandy. Then, the 20th of November of 2014, as part of the reduction in the number of regions, the National Assembly voted for the reunification of Normandy, which took place in the 1st of January of 2016.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the gastronomy of Normandy. Well, first, we have to talk about the dairy products, because in Normandy there are several dairy products that have designation of origin. This is the case of the Camembert cheeses from Normandy, Pont-le-Quev, Livarot, Neufchâtel, and Camembert d'Isigny. As well, they have sea products as a very important element of their cuisine, and Normandy is a major producer of oysters, mussels, scallops, and sea snails. Seafood and a wide variety of very good quality fish are also present in the Norman cuisine. And lastly, we have meat products. Normandy has an important herd of cattle of the Norman breed, which has a very tasty meat. The meat, as well of the Prix-Salé lambs, is also highly valued, raised in the floodplain meadows of the Mont Saint-Michel area, which have a very peculiar flavor due to their diet, which is rich in salt and iodine. Now we are gonna take a look at different important dishes of the Norman cuisine, starting with the appetizers. The first one is the coquilles and jacks, which are scallops fresh out of the water that go into a rich mixture of butter, cream, mushrooms, and Parmesan cheese. The traditional way is to bake them in the scallop shell. Then we have herring sour or smoked herring. That is one of the most popular preparations in Normandy. They grill it, marinate it, pickle and salt it, and poach them. And then finally we have the moules à la crème normande, which are fresh mussels in white wine, local cider, garlic, and fresh cream. Okay, now the main dishes that we have selected are the canard à la rouennaise, that uses local duck and is a specialty of Rouen. They partially roast the duck to remove the breast and legs, then they prepare a sauce from pressing the remaining meat, bones and skin. This process removes blood and juices from the carcass. Then they thicken this with ground liver, butter, cognac to create a taste Normandy does well. Then we have the Pré-Salé lamb. It's a treat from the area of around Mont Saint Michel, as we have explained before, and the sheep graze in the salt marshes where high tides are continually adding salt to the soil. It seasons as well as tenderizes the meat, and this practice dates back over 1,000 years. And finally, we have the tripes à la mode de Caen. that is a love or hate dish for most visitors. Traditionally, the recipe uses all of cow's stomach, hooves, and bones, and they simmer this for up to 15 hours in a unique pot for just that, a tripier. And additional ingredients include red vegetables, garlic, peppercorns, a bottle of cider, and a good splash of clavados. The final product is tender and flavorful. Okay, and now we have selected 3 desserts and sweets. The first one is the caramel de pomme diepois. Comes from the same seaside village of sub-famed Dieppe. A local chocolatier begins mixing apple puree, soft butter, salted butter, and white sugar for a filling. And is it a dessert? Is it a spread? All we know is it goes on any warm bread, like a product like croissants, crepes, or waffles. Then we have the sucres de pomme, that is an apple candy you find in Rouen, and this treat, dating from the 16th century, contains sugar, apple juice, and lemon zest. And finally, the most important dessert is the tarte Normande, that is an apple tart. Traditionally, it is with little dough and a lot of apples. And in Normandy, you may find also a dab of local clavados or creme fraiche on top. Okay, and finally, we're going to talk about the most important beverage of Normandy. The Normandy region is the main producer of apples in France. For this reason, it is also the largest producer of cider in the country. Also, they made here pommeux, apéritif liqueur, clavados, and poiré. And also, very typical of Normandy is the tradition of the trou normand, or Norman hole, consisting of drinking a small glass of clavados or another brandy in the middle of a large meal to facilitate the digestion.
To August, many towns in Normandy celebrate their cultural heritage by putting on medieval fairs and festivals so as to welcome the summer. There is the Normandy Festival of AOC, which is a 2-day event to celebrate Normandy's cuisine, cheeses, and wines in Cambrai. Then there's the Jeanne of Arc Festival in Rouen. There's the Fêtes Jeanne d'Arc and Medieval Market commemorating Jeanne's trial and execution with parades, religious processions, and also reenactments. There is also a medieval market and concerts held in this festival. Then there's the medieval festivals. The first week of July, Bayeux is transported back to the Middle Ages, where you can see people in medieval costumes, and there's market stalls and feasts. There's the Autumn Festival between October and November, which is a festival to celebrate the arts in cities like Rouen, Dieppe, where there's music playing, dance performances, and also there are circus events in this festival. And finally, the D-Day, which is held in June 6 to pay tribute to soldiers killed and wounded in the battle, and they also celebrate the renewed peace. You can enjoy light shows, concerts, military exhibitions, parades, parachuting, and between others.